This is the Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Since it's opened, it's been the highest grossing casino in Atlantic City, and I bet you're curious to see why. From the minute you drive up off the Atlantic City connector, it's easy to see why this casino is a little different from the others that are in Atlantic City. The Borgata was initially opened as a joint venture between Boyd Gaming and MGM. I understand that the property primarily was designed by Boyd, so that's why it's a little different in terms of its vibe and layout than other MGM properties that you may be familiar with. Since then, MGM has bought out the entirety of the property, so now it's starting to fall a little bit closer in line to other MGM properties. If you haven't been to Borgata in many years, you may discover a few differences that have happened since MGM has taken over. One item that you may have noticed if you haven't been has been the change in the main lobby. Did you notice? The two massive Dale Chihuly installations that used to flank the main corridor have been removed. I suspect that those two massive installations have been auctioned off for the money. It's a little bit disappointing if I'm right. While the main installation is still there, those other two that are missing does leave something to be desired. If somebody knows what happens to them, I'd love if you would weigh into the comments, because the community at large is curious. I've been told that the general theming of the Borgata Casino and Hotel tries to emulate a vibe of modern Tuscany. That makes sense, and I'll agree with that for certain parts, like these vaulted archways and columns. Extensive use of tiled floors and mosaics also lend to that vibe. I'd be very interested to see if MGM had built this property from scratch today, what it would look like. I suspect it would not have the quality of materials that Boyd had used way back in the day. Now, we're starting to approach the main lobby, the main check-in area if you are getting a room here at the Borgata. Okay, there are two general check-in areas of this main lobby. One for the general population with regular players' cards, and another segregated off to the side for higher limit players. You'll only be able to use the higher velvet rope side if you're a high limit player with an elevated player's card. Now, the real high limit players actually check in another lobby that's right to the right of this main general check-in. You won't be able to check in there unless you're invited. As we are making our way away from the main check-in area, the main front desk, we'll pass a general lounge, which oftentimes features live music. The live music here does lend for a little bit of excitement. I really like that touch, and I hope it's something that MGM keeps. This live music and bar lounge actually was not present when Boyd originally opened this hotel. If you do think back to when Borgata originally opened, you would remember a waterfall that was present behind the main front desk. I actually preferred the older version to that than the current version. Okay, now we're strolling past the Sala Meralto. On the right-hand side, behind the disguised glass and bars, is the high limit lounge. This is where the highest limit slot players play at the Borgata. You'll need a pretty big bankroll if you'd like to stay in there. Now, on the left, you'll see 3 arched doors. This is how you arrive at the main hotel. The ceiling here is also flanked by multiple Dale Chihuly glass art installations. I am hoping that MGM keeps these and doesn't auction these off. The loss of these installations ends up making the Borgata lose some of its culture and character. Let's hope they make the right choice and keep the art installations. Okay, you'll see on the right the main casino floor. There are hundreds of slot machines that you're able to play, and plenty of table games with limits of all ranges. If you're here on a weekend, expect the limits to creep up, but you'll have no trouble finding a blackjack, roulette, poker, any sort of gaming that you're interested in. This is the retail piazza. This is the shopping corridor that the Borgata features. I suspect when it originally opened, it was intended to mimic something like Via Bellagio or the Wynn Esplanade. While Borgata does not feature branded stores such as Tiffany or Louis Vuitton or Prada, you will be able to find some things that you may be interested in. However, there is a Tumi store, which I found a little bit interesting. It's directly off of the self-parking garage at the end of the retail piazza. Just ahead, you'll find an installation. This installation ends up changing with every season. It's a nice touch. I really like that Borgata does that. On your right, you'll find one of Atlantic City's franchised Starbucks locations. Don't try to redeem rewards here. You will be rejected because it is not an official Starbucks location. it's franchised. The last stop in the retail plaza is the general merchandise, souvenir, and convenience store. So this gives you a sense of the retail offerings at the Borgata. One thing that's noteworthy is that over the last several years, if you haven't been to Borgata in a while, you notice some of the celebrity chef names have been scrubbed from the restaurants. What used to be Wolfgang Puck is now American Grill. The poker room is one of the most lively places in the casino. It's definitely worth a visit if you play. If you need a break for some quick service food, visit the basement, which offers many quick service options. What do you think about Borgata? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Is there a casino you like better in Atlantic City? How does it compare to Las Vegas? Let me know, and thanks for watching.